this fight, it was a good-ass fight. I think Cruz maybe pulled it out. I think Cruz pulled that out. That motherfucker tough. He showed us a little. He got the boxing in there.
Javin Davis fired shots at Lamont Roach after news broke that Roach had injured his hand. According to Tank, Roach had no chance of beating Isaac Cruz even at his best, claiming his game plan was terrible and nothing was working for him in the fight. Tank insisted Cruz was robbed, questioning how someone could get dropped and dominated yet still walk away with a draw. He didn't stop there. He added another jab, asking whether Roach had changed anything in his approach and saying he'd show up when he's ready to call names, telling Roach to get off his back because this was a show. But Shakur Stevenson wasn't buying Tank's angle at all. After watching the fight, he went straight to X and said, "I thought Lamont pulled that off too," believing Roach outboxed Cruz, controlled enough rounds, and deserved the win. Coming from Shakur, who's moving up to 140 to chase Teofimo Lopez next month, that opinion carried weight. Ryan Garcia also chimed in, saying he felt Roach won a close fight by 1 or 2 rounds, though he wasn't mad at the draw. And finally, the person whose opinion mattered most in the moment, Lamont Roach, arrived at the post-fight press conference visibly drained. Despite keeping his chin up, the disappointment showed. He believed he had controlled the fight, especially after surviving the first knockdown of his career in round 3 and then taking back momentum. All he wanted, he said, was a level playing field. He didn't get it.
Cam, did you think it was a draw? Cam, you think it was a draw?
It was a good fight. It was a good fight.
You want to see a rematch?
What you think? A draw?
Cam, you want a rematch?
I would like to see a rematch. Hell yeah.
All right. Good job.
The crowd in San Antonio booed Lamont Roach round after round, loudly siding with Cruz. But the real gut punch wasn't the noise. It was the injury no one knew about until Roach left the arena, a broken hand. To prove it, he posted a video from the hospital with his left hand tightly wrapped, thanking his supporters and sending a clear message to the doubters. Even from the hospital bed, he reminded everyone that he showed up, fought through more than 7 rounds with one hand, and still made the fight competitive enough for the judges to call it a draw. Mike Coppinger echoed the sentiment, reposting Roach's video and calling it very impressive that he fought that long essentially one-handed. And maybe it really was. After the knockdown, Cruz looked ready to finish the fight, but Roach regrouped, tightened his movement, forced Cruz to reset repeatedly, and quietly took back momentum. Every time Cruz tried to blitz forward, Roach landed something clean enough to slow the pressure. He didn't dominate, but he controlled key pockets of the fight in ways most casual fans didn't fully recognize in real time.
Pitbull to decision, definitely gonna be Lamont Roach, because Lamont Roach got more styles. He can do it. He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside. I box you. You know, Pitbull Cruz, he's more of a one-dimensional fighter. He's coming forward, throwing a lot of punches. So I see Lamont Roach taking this. I see that. I see it like a 65-35 for Lamont Roach.
Anything suspicious about either one of them?
Nah, nothing suspicious. I mean, Pitbull Cruz on the work.
That's why the debate exploded the moment the scorecards were announced. But the bigger issue is what this means for Roach's career. He's now dealing with 2 back-to-back draws in major fights, first against Davis earlier this year, and now against Cruz, and he understands exactly how that affects his trajectory. At the post-fight presser, he didn't hold back, saying, 2 times in a row now. It's crazy. I can't keep fighting my opponent and the judges at the same time. We've got to do something about this. Something has to change. I thought I won the fight, and I definitely outboxed him.
When you doing your thing. So let's get back to the rematch and box his ears off. Do the Devin Haney, do the Devin Haney, huh? Do the Devin Haney, do the Devin Haney, huh?
He then repeated the same thing he's been saying since January. All he wants is an even playing field, and he's not wrong. 2 straight draws, both in fights where he performed at a championship level, have put him in a strange position. Roach is clearly good enough to compete with the best, skilled enough to handle pressure fighters like Cruz and explosive punchers like Tank. But draws don't build a legacy. They don't earn belts, and they don't secure big paydays. They keep you in the conversation without actually moving you forward. And Roach knows he's running out of time to stay in the almost category.
Very competitive matchup between Lamont Roach and Pitbull Cruz. A lot of people thought that Pitbull Cruz won the fight, and a lot of people thought that Lamont Roach won the fight, but overall it ended up as a draw. Now, Lamont Roach has been cursed with these back-to-back draws, first Tank Davis and now Pitbull Cruz. It just seems like he's not convincing the judges that he deserves that win. Lamont Roach started off fighting in the pocket in the first half of the
real upside for Roach, though, is exposure. Both draws have actually boosted his brand. His engagement is up, his name is circulating, and fans who never paid attention to him before now know exactly who he is. Boxing runs on attention, and when your name is hot, your value rises whether the judges got it right or not. Right now, Roach has more leverage in negotiations than he's ever had, even without a belt. His name now sits right next to Pitbull and Tank under the category of unfinished business. And in boxing, unfinished business sells. A Cruz versus Roach rematch would absolutely gain traction.
Hand speed, coordination, and he know how to hit on the button. He beat him on all the numbers. All the CompuBoxing numbers went in whose favor? Lamont Roach. The fight was over. Even if you want to look at it as technical, he withstood the little bullshit onslaught, and half of that shit was parried, blocked, and he was hitting him on the arms.
Both camps have mentioned a rematch, and both fighters have said they're open to it. The first fight was close enough to justify running it back, and now that Roach's injury is public, he has a compelling narrative heading into a second meeting. What happens when he's healthy? Still, fans can't help circling back to the idea of Roach and Tank crossing paths again. The storyline sells itself, and boxing fans are always drawn to unfinished business. But Roach has made it very clear that if a Tank rematch ever comes up, it will only happen on his terms. He's not interested in chasing Tank or reshaping his entire career just to give the public a continuation of a night he feels was compromised, both in how the fight unfolded and how the aftermath was handled.
Yes, guys, red corner boxing here. So Isaac Pitbull Cruz versus Lamont Roach was declared a majority decision draw out in San Antonio, Texas. The WBC interim super lightweight title stays where it was. Nobody takes it. And to be honest with you, nobody deserved it. A very underwhelming fight in my opinion.
When Roach sat down with Marcus Hayes, he didn't sound like someone campaigning for a rematch. The conversation began with the canceled Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis exhibition, which had stirred up plenty of talk because of the massive payday attached to it. $40 million is life-changing for anyone, and the fact that Davis was even considering a crossover fight, that big showed how much the landscape has shifted. But for Roach, the bigger concern wasn't Davis's money or the collapse of the main event. It was the undercard fighters whose entire training camps suddenly meant nothing. He empathized with them because he's lived it. Fights getting pulled at the last minute, flights being canceled, paychecks disappearing, and opportunities evaporating overnight. Fighters at his level understand the difference between preparing for the biggest night of their year and waking up to the reality that everything they budgeted for is gone.
Versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz.
I don't know why, but I feel like Pitbull Cruz is going to go out there guns blazing. I feel like Cruz can beat him by almost even a knockout, you know? I got Cruz winning by...
Hayes finally brought up the possibility of a Tank rematch. Roach didn't flinch, and he didn't sugarcoat anything. He said the fight is possible, but only if it comes with real guarantees, protections that keep him from walking into another messy situation like before.
Well, he definitely won the fight against Tank Davis. He started a little slow here. He started with weird strategy. I don't hate this tie. And both these guys, if they decide to run it back, I'd enjoy the rematch. Or at their weight class, there's a lot of good options. Sabril Matias, Dalton Smith are having a fight. They could take the winner of that. Maybe Tank Davis comes back and they could actually rematch him. And then there's the Tia Shakur fight. They could take the winner of that fight. But I think we all want to see the rematch.
The last thing Roach wants is to get dragged into negotiations, build an entire camp around a rematch, and then watch everything collapse again over issues that have nothing to do with him. He's not willing to risk his legacy on someone else's stability. And he's not taking a bad deal just to satisfy a rematch the public wants more than he does.
It's some bullshit, man. I don't know what I gotta do.
Hey, man, you gotta knock him out.
We're gonna go back to the drawing board. I don't accept this at all. I did thought I wanted a close fight, and I just
He made it clear. His legacy is not tied to Gervonta Davis. That's an important statement, because most fighters who go the distance with Tank end up being defined as the guy from the Tank fight for the rest of their careers. Roach is actively trying to break away from that kind of branding. If he becomes a star at 140, he wants the credit to come from his own resume, not from being attached to someone whose career moves are unpredictable.
Very good fighter. Now, like Sam said, hey, this is different. This is different atmosphere. Different, very different. You know what I'm saying? He had to be ready.
Yeah. So what we gotta do, Mills? We gotta prepare for the excuses. Oh, you know, it was different. The weight, the drained. You know, we don't know. It's gonna be something, but
this is where Roach's frustration with the business side becomes clear. He has explained before how disrespected he felt by the way the Tank situation was handled, particularly on the back end. Even when he didn't voice it publicly, it was obvious he was uncomfortable with how the conversations were unfolding behind closed doors. He said it himself. The business was not conducted in a way that made him feel valued or protected. The fact that he even mentioned arbitration highlights how seriously he took the need to avoid being blindsided again. When someone brings up arbitration before a second fight is even agreed upon, it signals that they were caught off guard by how the first round of negotiations went.
Good, you know. I don't think Roach has ever been in with somebody like that throws a lot of pressure like that. Yeah. You know, hey, he's good under pressure. You know, I think he's just gonna try to turn Pitbull Cruz and keep turning him. So see how it plays out.
Man, do you miss being in that ring, man?
All the time, man.
All the time.
Shit, I'm trying to get enough.
Meanwhile, online critics have been pushing the narrative that Roach has been leaning on excuses for the Cruz fight. Fans have dissected everything he said after the draw, pointing to his mentions of the broken hand, the holding, the low blows, and his belief that he didn't get a fair shake.
That Roach was winning in spots where he wasn't, and that Pitbull was having less success than he was. And so that was a bit distracting for me, and I could see it to be swaying for some people who are watching the fight. And while you say that neither one of them had...
Some felt that, instead of acknowledging that Cruz built an early lead and that Roach had to fight his way back, he tried to explain too many factors at once. That approach fueled the perception that he couldn't accept the possibility that he simply didn't do enough to secure a decisive win.
I mean, I thought Roach won. I thought he edged it out, but I mean, that fight was a really good fight. It deserved like an immediate rematch.
Yeah? Why did you feel Roach edged it out?
But Roach was just pushing him back. And Roach landed the more shots and the cleaner shots. Better shots, cleaner shots, you know?
Did you see Pitbull different from when you fought him?
The crybaby accusations are harsh, but that's the reality of boxing fans online. Whenever fighters open up about injuries or fouls, fans often interpret it as complaining rather than transparency. It doesn't help that Roach had promised before the fight that he would make a strong statement and show he was on another level compared to Cruz. When he didn't dominate as expected, the online reaction turned against him quickly. That's just how the sport works. If you talk confidently before a fight, you have to deliver something clear enough afterward to prevent people from spinning the narrative.